everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Boss Babes. If this is your first time watching us, welcome. We are so excited to have you. What we do is we look at athletes' lives outside of the game and behind the scenes. So as of right now, we have a really interesting situation going on here in the studio. We actually almost didn't even get to have the show tonight. It was kind of wild, and we're still kind of dealing with it in the moment right now. We have National Grid on site. The fire department just left. We had an odor of gas in the building.
Yeah, so essentially, if it takes a little bit of time for us to get kicked off, it's because our producer had to run downstairs, let National Grid in. But in the meantime, Emma and I can actually talk about our weekend. So Emma, what did we do this weekend?
This weekend was really fun. So we got to go and see our guest today. He's awesome. His name is Charles Rosa. So we went to go see his fight over at TD Garden, and it was incredible. A lot of, obviously, positive things happened. So we're really excited to talk about that. And this weekend, just hung out with some friends.
We actually bumped into Gordy Gronkowski, so we'll speak a little bit about that. So Legacy Club is actually right across the street from TD Garden, and we had so much fun. So Gordy Gronkowski, they are a big part of the Boston community, as you guys know. He and a few of his friends had a big party for Guru Club, and they did a little bit of stuff with Ice Shaker. So Emma and I popped over after the fight and enjoyed the after party there, which was a lot of fun. So we were happy to see Gordy Gronkowski and also enjoy the UFC fights. I know that it was electric inside of the Garden on Friday.
I feel like that's just Garden magic, though. Like, whenever you go into the Garden, you get that electric energy because Boston fans are just so intense and awesome and crazy supportive. I mean, but the thing was, it doesn't matter really who you're rooting for because, sitting in where we were, you could hear people talking about, I love this fighter, but people were still supportive of each other. It's just that good mentality that we have.
And believe it or not, a lot of the fighters, or a good amount of the fighters that were fighting that night, were actually from the Boston area. And Charles Rosa, who we're going to be introducing shortly, is actually from PBD, Massachusetts, and his family currently lives in Seabrook, New Hampshire. But yeah, it was kind of exciting to see how many people on the fight card were from Massachusetts. Speaking of people that are from the area, I'm rocking right now the Patriots jersey, Tom Brady, of course, the man that we all love. They're actually going to be kicking off shortly in the next half hour or so that's why I'm rocking this Patriots jersey. But speaking of the Patriots, we're going to roll this awesome tape. I don't know if you guys know that Rob Gronkowski, I kind of called it a few months back. I was like, you know what, he's retiring, but he's not giving up his career fully. He's going to get into commentating and movies and probably the WWE, doing something interesting and fun. So I loved this clip, and I wanted to pull it and show it to you guys because it's essentially him having fun, talking about Julian Edelman, and I was actually texting Gordy really as it was happening, saying, oh my God, you see Rob, like, this is hilarious. He's like, yeah, dude, we're all dying laughing. So we're going to roll this tape and have a good laugh.
Thanks, Aaron. Once in a while in the locker room, Tom had to put his foot down on me, control me a little bit, yell at me, get that scream going. But let me tell you something about Julian. First off, he calls himself the squirrel. You want to know why he calls himself the squirrel? Because he is a squirrel. He's furry. He's furry. He's cute. He's elusive. He's feisty. And most importantly, whenever he gets a chance, he gets that nut. Just like he gets a first down. Just like he gets the touchdown. Just like he'll give you a catch when you need it.
Yeah. What? WWF. I'm ready to play. Put us in, coach.
Let's go, baby.
Emma, what did you think about that? Like, how hyped up are you with that?
That was pretty incredible. It's just, Rob Gronkowski, when he speaks, he really has his teammates back, and you can see that so strongly. He just comes out of the gate with so much support. It was it feels like a speech. He just did the most motivational speech ever about his friend being a squirrel to him. The guy can talk about anything and just make it sound awesome.
Well, Julian Edelman, his nickname is actually the squirrel because, like he mentioned, he's furry, he's cute, and he's a bunch of other things. But essentially, Julian Edelman is probably one of the fast wide receivers. He is so agile. He collects these nuts, as they are referring to the football, of course, these passes from Tom Brady. So that's why his nickname is the squirrel. And I just loved that You hear Rob Gronkowski speaking about his teammate / friend on such a positive note and just making it hilarious. Like, I was captivated from beginning to end watching him talk about this. But we're going to switch on over now. I know we talked a little bit about the weekend and the Patriots game that's about to start tonight, but our special guest is actually a chef. I don't know if you guys know this, but Charles Rosa is a chef, so I actually pulled a clip of him off of YouTube making some chicken. So let's roll this tape.
What's up, guys? Chef Charles Rosa. I'm preparing Rory McDonald's meal tonight. Starting off, we're gonna make cayenne seasoned chicken with garlic steamed bok choy with some lemon garnish. All right, it's a pretty basic meal. Rory won't be able to eat a lot of food tonight because he's cutting weight. So real basic, simple meals with no salt, no sodium. The food isn't necessarily for a taste. It's more, for performance. So that's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make it performance so we can cut the weight, make the weight, so we can fight BJ Penn tomorrow and make the weight. So the first thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to season the chicken. Since chicken takes the longest to cook, I'm going to put it in the steamer and get it ready. And then I'll start preparing the onions and the peppers for the bok choy. So this is cayenne pepper, seasoned with the chicken. Real basic. You can't use any oil, so we have to steam the food because oil has too much fat in it from right now. Cayenne pepper is okay as long as it's unsalted because it doesn't have any sodium in it. Just cayenne right on the chicken. That's it. No salt, no oils, no olive oil, no nothing. Right in the steamer. Probably take about 10-15 minutes for the chicken to be done. So while that's going on, I'm gonna start preparing the bok choy. This right here is red bell pepper. One of the main things I'm trying to do for Rory is the appearance of the food. I feel like it's the most important thing. Most of the fighters are used to cutting the weight, especially being out of their hometown. They're used to, eating frozen foods or foods that they bring with them, or raw foods like having to eat spinach right out of the bag. So if they can get it steamed and maybe get a little bit of flavor on it, it'll make it a lot better. Alright, so here's the peppers, and we'll put them aside for the bok choy. The next thing I got is the onion. Just gonna, cut it. Like I said, the onion just gonna give it a little bit extra flavor that's not, usually there. Onions and vegetables don't really have a lot of calories, so you can pretty much use anything as long as it's not, doesn't have any starches in it. Trying to get some nice pieces right here. So if you see it right here, it's probably gonna be approximately about 3 pieces I'm gonna get out of this for Rory. There'll obviously be some left over, but I have to cook the whole piece of chicken. And there we go. Now I'll put it on the scale. 1.8. Maybe it's one more little piece.
So as we can see, Chef Rosa is multi-talented. Not only can he serve up punches in the ring, but he can serve up food to everybody else, including his family members, which is awesome. So as you guys just noticed, he was obviously making some food for a fighter. As you guys can tell, it was a lot of vegetables and very bland. He put some spices on it. He didn't use any olive oil. I think he said that he steamed it, and the reason for that is, and we're going to have him talk about that shortly live, is fighters, they have to stick to a specific weight because of their weight classes. They can't have carbs at a certain point. They have to literally just cut weight and make that weight, because if they don't make that weight, they can actually get fined or they might not be able to fight. They have to literally get weight in, I think, a day or two before their actual fight. So yeah, we're gonna have him talk about that live, but essentially that's why that food didn't look that appetizing, because it essentially was just weighed out chicken and some vegetables, because he couldn't eat any specific fats or carbs. So Emma, take it away.
Yeah, so that's just one thing that Rosa does, though, and obviously we're very excited to have you in studio tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. I know you're fresh off of the fight, so...
We're going to actually kick to his tape right now, and then we're going to jump right into the interview. Sorry, I just didn't want you to...
Is it Peabody, Massachusetts originally?
That's correct. And now training and fighting out of Florida, but they're certainly making a lot of appearances here.
That's with that ATT, of course, American Top Team, doing very well.
He did have a quick fight back home in Florida in February. He won that one by second round knockout. First time in his career that he went past the first round.
Yo, what's up guys? Charles Boston Strong Rosa, UFC featherweight from Peabody, Massachusetts. Growing up in Peabody, I came from like a large Italian family, so always on Sundays, my dad would have a big Italian dinner prepared for us. We'd always eat and, you know, obviously watch football. I don't think I ever missed a Tom Brady game, so I've been pretty fortunate with him because he's been killing it, winning the Super Bowls. But definitely a huge sports fan, huge food fan, and a huge Boston fan. I went to school Johnson & Wales in Providence, Rhode Island, so I pretty much grew up in the East Coast my entire life between Boston, New Hampshire, and all through New England. I got into cooking, culinary arts pretty much after high school. The guidance counselor asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I wanted to play hockey. I wanted to be in the NHL, and they kind of like laughed a little bit at it and said, oh, you can't go to school for that. What do you want to do? So what are your other hobbies? And I said, well, you know, I love eating. I love cooking food. Because I didn't start training jiu-jitsu until I was 23 years old. But before that, when I was a little kid, we used to wrestle we had a big full-size trampoline in the backyard of my house in Peabody. So all my boys would come over after lacrosse practice, after hockey practice, whatever, and we'd go on the trampoline and jump, and we'd just wrestle each other and pretty much play king of the mat, like throw each other off the trampoline, just wrestle till submission. And actually one of my best friends growing up as a kid, Rico DeShulo, he actually fights in Bellator, which is also a big fight promotion. So coincidentally, we both came out to be, you know, professional fighters, and I think it all started back on the trampoline when we were kids. One of the main organizations I support is Chucky's Fight. It's an organization dedicated to help knock out substance abuse. It's run by my dad, my mom, and my family, and also I help with that a lot. One of the things my dad does is he goes and he jumps in the ocean every single day, even in the cold in the winter when it's snowing out and stuff like that, to help raise money for the charity.
Okay, so one of the first things I just heard this. Your dad jumps in the ocean every single day. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, we actually just jumped in today too. It was freezing, so I did it also today because he did a plunge for the charity also today. So it seemed like it was a decent day, but the water was like 45 degrees, so it was definitely freezing.
It's crazy to hear you say that because my dad actually does the same thing.
Oh, no way.
He hasn't done it for charity yet, but now that I'm hearing about this, I'm like, yeah, Dad, like, that makes total sense that you would do that. But yeah, he runs into the ocean. It's his favorite thing to do, like, every day.
Wow.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You should go jump in with my dad sometime.
I don't know about me. Maybe my dad can go.
Yeah.
I don't do cold very well.
Yeah.
But loved your tape. Loved hearing about your background. I know that you're fresh off the fight from Friday, so let's start with talking about that. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I mean, I finished the fight in the first round, so I didn't take too much damage. Got a little black eye, but that's about it. I won the fight in 2.5 minutes, first round armbar. So it went exactly as planned. I also got performance of the night bonus, so I got an extra 50 G's out of it. So definitely pumped about that. So, still waiting for it to come into my account. Should be in any minute. So I'm just waiting on that. But everything's good. Life's good right now.
All right, so drinks on you next time, huh?
Yeah, I mean, once I get the money.
But I did notice that your eye healed really, really quickly, which that to me was very baffling. Of course, as a woman, whenever you look at somebody having a bruise, you're like, oh my gosh, like, how did you cover that up? How did you fix that quickly? You must have amazing skin. Like, what is your secret? What do you do that heals so quickly?
I'm not sure. That's something I've just always been blessed with. I always heal fast. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I have a pretty good diet, so maybe it's that, but I've just been blessed with that. Every time I get a black eye, it's gone in like a couple days, when some people you get it and it doesn't go away for weeks. So I don't know what it is, but I just like to think it's because I'm healthy and take care of myself.
That's awesome. So one question that we got, the very first question that we have, comes from one of our viewers, Antonio. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Antonio wants to know what goes through your mind before entering the ring.
Man, I was just thinking about that the other day. Because I was like, I didn't fight for 2 years before this fight. I was injured. I had an injury, and I wasn't medically cleared by the UFC to fight, so I had to wait 2 years. And this was my big comeback fight. And I remember, I kind of was in the locker room before this fight, about to walk out, and I was just thinking, man, I'm about to get locked in there with another guy. But I mean, this is what I love to do. But the one thing that helps me the most is my opponent's going through the same thing. So I know, and then it comes down with it who's more man, who's gonna come home with the W, and if he's in the same position I'm in, so it's an even playing field. So that's kind of what goes through my mind. But when it comes down to it, it's like kind of kill or be killed. That's the mentality you have to have. You can't go in there with any hesitation because, we're not going to play a baseball game or a football game. Like, we're going in there, 2 people getting locked in the cage and one's coming out. That's like my mindset. So.
And how do you prepare and get into that mindset?
There's a lot of things I do.
Do you listen to a specific song? Do you get a pump up?
Yeah, I watch I watch some movies, watch like the Rocky movies, watch like Braveheart.
Does anybody give you a motivational speech, like your dad or somebody?
Nah, there's nobody gives me a motivational speech. So all my motivation comes from myself. I really feel like, there's some things that I watch, some movies that I watch, but when it comes down to it, it's just, like I said, it's something that I love and it's something that I want. And, sometimes, because like Manny was such a nice kid, like he kept trying to talk to me and be my friend before the fight, and I could tell like he was looking at me like, hey, you want to shake hands, like before the fight started. And I'm all for sportsmanship. Like, that's the type of guy I am. Like, I'm a super sportsman, like have a lot of respect for the sport. I'm a true mixed martial artist, but also in the same breath, like, I'm not going in there to be his friend. We can be friends after. I shook his hand, I helped him up after I beat him and won the fight, first thing I did. But that's the thing, is like I have to set up in my mind like some fake type of scenario, like, oh, like I'll just make something up that I have to kill him, you know what I mean? Like, I have to go for that, because that's how it has to be. You can't have any hesitation. You hesitate for 1 second, that could cost you the fight. So that's something that I work on, my mental state. I have a strong mind, and I'm able to put myself in that position to to get myself in that state of mind.
Well, with this sport, it's obviously a big mental sport, as we talked about lightly before. Not only do you have to mentally prepare to step into the octagon, you also have to have a ton of discipline as far as training, losing that weight. Like, it's a non-stop sport to some extent. Like, you don't really have off time. Like, I know you and I were speaking earlier, you might have a week or two where you might just eat some burgers and fries for a little bit, but then after that, you're going to start losing that weight, getting back into that mentality, getting prepped for your next fight. I know that right now you're 3-0 in Boston, 8-0 in New England, 5-0 with CES, and you want to get the belt and start chasing the title. And I love, love, love how you mentioned that you just passed Conor McGregor with the most UFC wins in Boston. How the heck does that make you feel?
I mean, it feels amazing. I mean, that's my nickname, Charles Boston Strong Rosa. It was, my 3rd win at the Garden in a row. And man, this is, it's my city. I love Boston. I love the city. I live in South Florida now, but this is the streets that raised me, that made who I am today, made me the fighter I am. So I love to come back here, smell the fresh air, see the leaves changing, and see the seasons change. It's just, this is the place I love, place that made me who I am.
We love that. And we actually just got another question from another viewer, James. So he says, what's your training like for a fight? The physical prep, the mental prep, and the diet. And I know that we talked about, your mental prep for that. And then we saw some of the food that you were making. But, what else goes into it that maybe people aren't seeing behind the scenes?
There's a lot that goes into it. I mean, it's every day I'm training. Monday, even on Sundays, I'm at least going to do yoga or stretching. So, 6 out of 7 days a week, I'm in the gym. I train American Top Team. It's the #1 MMA gym in the world in South Florida, in Coconut Creek, Florida. That's where I live, train full time. There's like a stable of over 200 UFC fighters there from all over the world, Russia, Japan, Brazil, every country you can think of, there's probably a fighter from that country. So I'm definitely getting the best looks from the best guys, and I'm in the right place. And I'm there 2 or 3 times a day, sometimes between 2 to 6 hours a day, training hard as I can. By the end of pretty much every session, I'm soaked in sweat, have to go home, change, maybe go jump in the pool, make some food, and then come back and do it again at night. So, it's a 24/7 thing. And the times that I'm not in the gym training, with my friends talking about training, or I'm getting massages, or I'm stretching, or I'm making myself food, or I'm meal prepping, or I'm doing stuff like that. So, or I'm watching UFC fights, just studying film. So this is a 24/7 thing for me. It's what I love to do. And if I want to be a champion, I can't take, it has to be 100% focused. So I can't take any time off, really.
And of course, you're in tip-top shape. I would consider you a peak performance athlete, almost like an extreme athlete to some extent. What do you do? And I know we kind of already spoke about all this, but how do you get prepped? Literally, say it's the night before your fight. What exactly is your routine? Like, can you sum it all up for us? What are you eating? I know you ate a lot of fish. I was keeping up with your Instagram stories. I know that fish is very lean. So
yeah.
What did you eat as far as your food? What were you thinking about during the weigh-ins? Can you sort of walk us through the steps as far as what your mental state was and what you did to prepare for that fight on Friday?
Yeah, well, first of all, it starts, 2 months before my fight. So most people that don't understand that, for fighters, we have to do something called the weight cut. So my fight is contracted. I have to fight at 145 pounds, and the weigh-ins are the day before the fight. So I have to weigh 145 pounds a day before the fight. But that means I get an entire day to gain as much weight as I can, and I usually step in the octagon about 20 pounds heavier at 165 pounds. And everyone asks, well, why would you do that? Why doesn't everyone just do that? Well, then you would have some people doing weight cuts and some people not. If I fought at the weight I walk around at normally, I would be fighting at 170 pounds. And if you look at the guys that fight at 170 pounds, they're 6 feet, 6'2", friggin' jacked, you know what I mean? So I'd be fighting someone that is a lot bigger and stronger than me, and it wouldn't be a fair fight. So one of the things I have to do 2 months before the fight, have to go on a super strict diet, mostly consists of, fish, vegetables, stuff like that. And, I'm a chef, so it definitely helps me. I majored in nutrition at Johnson & Wales and University, so I have a much better understanding of it than most fighters do. So it really just consists of like food prepping, keeping my metabolism going right, eating right after training sessions, and eating the right foods.
Okay, so when you do have those cheat days, what is your favorite go-to cheat meal, and where does it come from? Like, is there a favorite restaurant or spot that you have?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Well, my favorite cheat meal is definitely chicken parmesan. I don't really cheat with like pizza because it's just kind of like wasted calories. As much as I love pizza, I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't get to eat it. I don't get to eat it much.
Emma loves pizza, so that just
who doesn't love
got
pizza?
her in the heart.
Yeah, but there's a spot I love to go because it's like clean food. It's called Cut 432. It's a steakhouse in Delray Beach, Florida, and it's actually a restaurant I work at. It's like a 5-star fine dining steakhouse. So they got like the best steaks, like prime cuts of steak, fresh vegetables, like everything is made fresh every day. I mean, I worked there for 5 years, so I know the quality of the food. It's like the highest quality of food, and that's like my favorite place to go when I just want to get like a good meal in and like kind of rehydrate myself and get a little bit of weight on. But that's my spot.
I understand the whole mindset of you guys being very disciplined and losing the weight, because if you guys can believe it or not, I've been into sports since I was very young.
Really?
I know Calvin Cater very well, who's also from the area, and he was actually supposed to fight Friday night, but his fight got pushed back to Moscow, Russia. And Calvin, I was actually his wrestling manager. Not that I trained him or did anything in the ring with him, but I was actually the one that kept track of the points and traveled with the team. But I actually dated one of the wrestlers back in high school, and I remember being with my ex-boyfriend at the time. He's my high school sweetheart. We dated for 3-4 years. Him sitting there like trying to lose weight with like the little trash bags, and I'd be eating dinner and I'd be like, babe, do you want to eat something? And he just couldn't do it. He'd be like running around outside like spitting into a cup, just trying to lose that extra water weight. And it's almost like scary and sad that you guys have to put your bodies through that, but it goes to show you guys like how dedicated and how disciplined you are. And I love that you're in here, and I have a lot of respect for people that are in your sport as far as mixed martial artists. You guys do a lot. You guys take a beating mentally and physically, 100%.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That's the toughest part of the sport is the weight cut. It's the only part of the sport that I wish could be like eliminated, because I feel like it is a little bit unhealthy. I mean, they're working on different ideas for it, but they haven't figured out a way yet. But I mean, it's part of the sport now, so I got to do it as long as it's part of the sport.
Now, what's the strangest thing that you've ever had to do to try to cut weight? Have you tried different methods that were like really weird?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Dude, absolutely ridiculous. There's so many things. There was one time when I was an amateur, because I fought 20 amateur fights. I was the #1 amateur fighter in the country before I turned professional. And in all those 20 fights, I never got paid for one of them because it's amateur, so I really did because I loved it, but that's besides the fact. But before I knew, one of the first things I did that was probably the worst thing, I was living in South Florida. Probably was like 95, 100 degrees one day. I had to lose about 7 pounds that day. So I put my sauna suit on, a black sauna suit, and I went for a 3-mile run in the hot sun. Dude, I swear to God, it must have been the hardest run or anything I've ever done in my life. Like, I don't know how I made it. I feel like I was running through the desert, like with no water, and also you can't drink water because you're cutting weight.
Yeah, you're losing that water weight, so you can't even replenish that water afterwards.
Exactly. So I don't know how I made it without passing out, but I remember like when I got back, the only way I didn't pass out was probably because I jumped right in the pool and I was like cooled down, but it was like seconds away from like dying. But
oh geez.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're glad that you're safe.
We're glad that you're safe. Well, we're going to talk a little bit. We have like another 2 minutes before we cut to commercial break, but I know that you're from PBD, Mass. I love that you grew up in the area. You went to Johnson & Wales, which we spoke about a little bit, so you also went to college right here on the East Coast. Your family still currently lives in Seabrook, and I loved that when you were a kid, you wanted to play, you played ice hockey and you wanted to play football, or you did play football.
I want to play in the NHL,
Yeah, and you wanted to play in the NHL, but what is kind of funny to me is that your teachers used to laugh at you and say, you can't be in the NHL, and here you are, a professional athlete regardless, so you should be like, haha, guys, I still became a pro athlete.
Yeah.
I still fight, but in a different way, and yeah, I'm not skating, but whatever. I mean, hockey players fight, so you kind of like took that and you do it in the octagon now.
Yeah, I'm sure some of them must have seen it the other night on ESPN. So
for sure,
if you're listening in,
if you guys are listening in, he became a pro
What's
athlete. I also loved this and actually posted on our Instagram. I loved that you started wrestling your friends on the trampoline back in the day. Can you give us a backstory on that? And that kind of like influenced you getting into wanting to be in MMA, was just having fun with your friends in the trampoline.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what we used to do. I used to have a full-size trampoline in the yard, and one of the things we used to do, we get all my friends after lacrosse hockey practice. We used to come over, and we used to all go on the trampoline, and we used to just kind of like fight each other, just kind of fight each other for who was the toughest guy that day. And we used to, at some points, we'd have the whole neighborhood there. Some days it'd just be me and a couple friends. But I'd like to think, like, when I first walked into an MMA gym, they kind of asked me, did you have any prior training? I said, no, I just played hockey. But I like to think that training on the trampoline with my friends kind of paid off. It was, like, real sparring. Because we were really trying to kill each other. Like, we were really going nuts, So that's I think that's where it all started for me.
Why does this sound to me like broken arms?
What's that?
Why, like fighting on a trampoline?
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh, that's the paranoid person in me.
I don't know.
That sounds like broken arms.
I mean, we used to do a thing called popcorn, where like when the guy jumps in the air,
I used to do that too.
And like, dude, I've flown off the trampoline and landed right in my bag. But I don't know. Luckily, I never broke nothing.
You guys should look up what popcorn is. I actually used to do that. Not that I'm an MMA fighter, but I remember like taking my arms and locking them around my knees, and the other person would jump, and whoever let go of their knees first lost.
Yep.
I definitely did that.
Okay, that sounds pretty terrifying.
We're gonna have a competition this weekend. We're gonna do popcorn.
Guys, we're just looking at a little score update right now that we just got. Sorry to interrupt. It is Patriots 7. And then Jets 0.
Let's go.
So we're going to, as of right now, for anyone that is going to take a moment to tune into the game for themselves, we're going to cut to commercial break in just a second. But really quickly before we do, we want to send a quick shout out to Quincy Fire. Thank you so much, guys, for coming out. I know we said this at the beginning. If you're just tuning in, we almost didn't have the show tonight because there was a gas leak downstairs. But thankfully, Quincy Fire came on out. We had National Grid come on out. So shout out to you guys. Thank you for making this show possible tonight. We are so grateful for you. And now we're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors. Stay tuned, guys.
At Bad Martha, we believe in 3 things: great beer, getting bad, and doing good. Every sip of our premium craft beer is a reminder that there's a paradise out there where you can kick off your boat shoes, let your hair down, and leave it all behind. That paradise is Martha's Vineyard. And while there's a bit of bad in every drop of beer we brew, there's also a whole lot of good that comes with every bottle we sell. That's because Bad Martha is built on a simple idea: community first. We're proud of our beer, but we're even more proud of the island that inspired it. We hope you enjoy both just as much as we do, and look forward to continuing the tradition in Falmouth at our new location opening summer of 2019. Bad Martha. Get bad, do good.
Rob Gronkowski here, ex-superstar in the game of football, and now I am in the business world. And today, I am proud to announce I am part owner with my brother of Ice Shaker. We're all about the grind. We are all about inspiring others to live a healthy lifestyle and be the best person you can be. And that's what Ice Shaker is all about. And that's what we are all about. And that's why we are here today. Because we are out there to live a purpose with joy, with passion, and to inspire optimal health. We are built on toughness. We are built on grinding. We are built on keeping your drink ice cold for more than 30 hours. Check us out. Proud brother, proud family member, iceshaker.com.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah! Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
Herd Restaurant, conveniently located here in Metro Square, features locally sourced, delicious meals created by a multi-talented chef. Herd satisfies even the most discerning palate. We love to welcome you to come to Herd so you may eat, drink, and spend time together. Watch for specials on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter feeds at Herd on Main, and come visit soon.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for staying with us. We are the Boss Babes, and tonight we are in studio with professional MMA fighter Charles Rosa, who just took home that win on Friday at TD Garden. We are so happy to have you here tonight. So, kind of picking up where we left off, Brittany, I know that we have so many more questions for him, and guys, you guys are sending a lot as well. So thank you so much. We're getting to as many as we possibly can. Brittany, let's have you take the next question.
So we wanted to ask you, obviously being a mixed martial artist, you're involved with a little bit of everything. So everything from grappling, wrestling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, throwing punches like a boxer. Is there anything that you like more in particular, or what gets you in the mindset for your fights? Like, what is your go-to?
Yeah, I mean, I've always gravitated towards jiu-jitsu. I'm a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I got my black belt under Ricardo Laborio and Charles McCarthy a few years back. So that's something I definitely pride myself on. It's something that's very difficult to get, and I was able to obtain it. So I'm really grateful I was able to work hard and get that. The other thing, I've done a ton of kickboxing. I've kickboxed around the world. I went to Thailand, which, Muay Thai is the main sport in Thailand. For those that don't know, they start when they're little babies and they fight all the way up until, whatever. And I've lived in Thailand for multiple months. Probably went there 4 or 5 times in my life and lived there and pretty much studied under them. And then also I went to Holland and the Netherlands and trained Dutch kickboxing. So my other pretty much hobbies are kickboxing too, but I do it all. I mean, I train an American top team. We get Olympic wrestlers, Olympic boxers, Brazilian black belts from Brazil come in, the Kazakhstani and Russians come in to wrestle with us. So, I mean, there's guys from all over the world that I'm working with, all the best guys.
Yeah, so your training really comes from all over the world, really, which is incredible.
Yeah, everybody specializes in something, and each country has something that they're really good at, and that's what American Top Team does. It's like a place that everybody can go and bring all their skills, and it's pretty amazing to see the different styles and all that stuff, but it's pretty much almost down to a science. I think I got the blueprint for it, and I'm just trying to follow it. I got the best training partners, the best coaches, train at the best gym in the world, and I'm looking to be the best fighter in the world.
Has there ever been a move in the ring where you get hit with something and you're like, whoa, what the heck is that move?
Yeah, 100%. So I don't know if you guys watched the whole card the other night, but I fought Yair El Pantera Rodriguez. He was the co-main event last night from Mexico. I fought him in his hometown in Mexico City, and fought him about 3 years ago. It was the main event in Mexico City, and I thought I won the fight, but it went to split decision and I lost. I think it was because in Mexico, he's Mexican. That's how the judges work, how it is in sports, but I thought I won the fight. But anyways, he when the fight first started, he's a Taekwondo specialist, so he's like a black belt in Taekwondo. So Taekwondo is spinning techniques, really flashy types of kicks. And I never forget when I was first walking out to the fight, all the fans were throwing beer and pouring beer on me and trying to throw a ball. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was 32,000 people sold that arena, and I don't think the only 2 people cheering for me were my mom and dad in the whole arena. So, and I had the American flag. I walked out. But anyways, I'll never forget because I missed a couple bottles. They didn't hit me. I dodged them. But when I got in the cage, the first move he did is he ran and he kicked me in the leg, and he jumped up with his other leg and kicked me in the head. So it was like a switch kick. So I felt one hit my leg, but it was so athletic of a move. I've never seen it before. I've never seen it in training. I've never even seen anyone do it. It was the first time anyone ever did it. That I thought someone from the crowd threw a bottle at my head because I didn't I was boom, and I looked. I'm like, what? So I was out of it for a second. I recovered and just dominated the rest of the fight. But it was it was pretty crazy that happened, and I'll never forget that move because it's one of my favorite moves now. I use it. So. And
I know your nickname is Charles Boston Strong Rosa,
yep.
Which I absolutely love. We just recently had in a Boston Marathon bombing survivor, Roseanne Sedoya recently. She was actually on our show a few weeks ago.
I saw pics of that,
yeah, she was incredible. Married the first responder that saved her life and stuff. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is obviously because of your nickname.
Yep.
And I find it pretty interesting that you have fought other MMA fighters, UFC fighters from the Boston area. So let's speak about that. I know you recently fought Kyle Bochniak, who's from the area. Your most recent fight was Manny Bermudez, who's from here. Speak to me about having to fight other people from the Boston area. Does that affect you at all because you guys kind of grew up from Boston?
No, I mean that's something I pride myself in. You know, I mean I want to be the baddest motherfucker from Boston, so that's kind of my. All right, I won't. I'm the baddest dude from Boston, and you know that's something I pride myself on. So, you know, that's what I do. You know, I mean I fight whoever the UFC offers me. I also fought Sean Soriano. He was like the best fighter ever from Providence, best MMA fighter. He's also a beast. He actually lives down and trains down in South Florida too. But yeah, I mean I've taken on a lot of guys from New England. I mean I don't prefer to fight a guy from New England. I'd rather go fight a guy from another country and represent my country. But when it comes to Boston, everybody knows that, you know, I'm the best fighter from here.
Okay, so switching gears really quickly, just a score update for you guys. It is now Patriots 10, Jets still 0. So just in case anyone's interested, wanted to keep you guys as updated as possible. So we got another question from the audience. What is your favorite finishing maneuver at the end of a fight? Really land the KO.
Well, I think the armbar is now, because it just got me an extra 50K. But you know, I have like 5 or 6 wins by armbar, so that's one of my favorite moves. But I would say the armbar. That's probably my best move. I got a Peruvian necktie finish, which is a pretty cool one. You guys don't know what it is, but
I have no idea.
It's a pretty cool choke that you know, chokes someone unconscious too. So I'd say those two, armbar and Peruvian necktie.
So this is kind of an interesting question, and the reason why I asked this is my friend Brittany, who's actually in studio. She's good friends with Manny Bermudez. He was actually telling her a few days ago that sometimes he's afraid to like cuddle girls and stuff because he doesn't know his own strength. So I want to ask you, I think you may or may not have a girlfriend. When you're giving your mom a hug or your girlfriend a hug, do you kind of get scared that not that you're going to hurt them on purpose, but oh my God, I'm so used to this mentality. Like, what is your mindset when you're trying to just give somebody a kiss? Like, you have to hold that strength back a bit, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes, like, when I come back from training, you know, and whatever, like, and you go to like hug a girl, like it's kind of like I just go to like the wrestling position right away. I'll get like double underhooks and like lock them up to give them a hug rather than just like, hey, what's up, you know? So it's definitely natural instinct, but it's, you know, it's definitely something. It's more like when I'm deep in camp. Like right now, I'm not really thinking about it. I'm like, the fight game is just, I try to tune out for like a week and try to rest my body. But when it's like, you know, leading up to the fight, the closer it gets, the more you gotta watch out when you're getting close to me.
Oh boy, okay.
I figured I had to ask that. It's definitely an interesting question to ask.
Now, you know, over the years, I'm sure that while you're, you know, doing quite a bit for these fights, you're also taking some of your personal time to give back to your community, which anyone who watches the Boss Babes knows this is a huge thing. Charity is huge with us. Can you tell us about, you know, some of the ways that you've tried to give back to the Boston community?
Yeah, for sure. Especially the Boston community. There's one in particular, is Chucky's Fight. It's a charity that my dad, my mom, myself started, and it's called Chucky's Fight, and you can look at chuckysfight.com, and it's a charity that's dedicated to help knock out substance abuse. So when I was 16 and 17 the following years, I lost my 2 older brothers to drug overdoses, which, you know, rest in peace, was really tough for me growing up as a kid. They were like my role models, and my older brothers obviously, and it was definitely really tough. But something my dad did, you know, they put their ashes in the ocean, so that's when my dad started jumping in the water every day, kind of his way to like deal with it, I guess. And something that they did from that, at the time he was going to talk to schools and stuff about his experiences with my brothers and stuff, so maybe we could help some other kids and educate them, because I think the biggest thing about the substance abuse and the drugs is education. Like, I don't think everybody goes out and says, oh, I'm gonna go try heroin. Like, it kind of builds from starting from other drugs and maybe not being educated on it. So that's like, I think, the key to it, of solving that problem, and that's something my dad has dedicated his entire life to, and that I go help out. So sometimes I'll go to schools, I'll go to treatment centers, I'll go to, you know, prisons or something and speak to the kids or the adults about it, and it's been really successful. My dad's raised over hundreds of thousands of dollars, helped get thousands of kids into treatment centers that didn't have the funds to do so because it's really expensive, or some people don't have insurance. So that's one of the huge things. And then the other thing that I do in South Florida, since Chucky's Fight's mainly based out of the New England area, is something called Project Sunshine. And Project Sunshine helps kids that are terminally ill, dying from cancer. So I'll go into like the hospitals, and you know, they're usually younger kids, and I'll bring them like my championship belts and some pictures and sign them and write like a positive quote or message like dream big, never give up, or take pictures with them. And there's some pretty cool things that have come from that also.
What's some advice that you can give to people that are currently battling addiction? What would you, if they were in front of you right now, what is advice that you can give to them to help motivate them to get out of that situation? And would you teach them to read a book, or maybe get into a sport, or take up running?
I think the biggest thing is working out. It's like free drugs, you know. You get to go, you go on the treadmill, you go to the gym, you feel better than any drug could ever make you feel, and that's just natural. It doesn't cost anything, and it's good for you. So I think that's the answer.
And we agree with you, actually. Emma and I, the reason why we started the show, there's multiple reasons why we started our show, of course, but we believe in a healthy lifestyle, and we ourselves focus on charity and having you guys in talking about the behind the scenes. So we 100% agree with the healthy lifestyle of eating properly, getting active, getting fit, staying off the streets, and trying to stay away from bad things such as drugs.
And it's unfortunate because I feel like sometimes it's just one of those things that no matter how hard you try or how much love you have, it's just something that can take over a person. So I think it's beautiful that you guys have started Chucky's Fight, and you know, if you do have a Chucky's Fight event coming up, we would love to be there. So please keep us in the loop and let us know for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I actually got these Chucky's Fight dog ties I wanted to give you guys, so I'll give them to you now.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, this is so sweet.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, look at these guys.
Yep.
Oh, I love these. Thank you. That's so kind.
Emma can show it to you guys because the camera's on her.
Let me get this unwrapped really quickly. Sorry,
So,
guys.
Yeah, so
I guess while Emma's opening these up.
Yeah, so one of the things that these things are, just so you know, is that these are like pennants that if a kid or person will like kind of agree to make healthy choices, we give them one of these. So we say only take one if you're going to agree to make healthy choices with your life.
That's wonderful. I
That
love
is
this.
incredible. It's almost like their recovery
This one too.
motivation, essentially.
Yeah, some people can that are really struggling. Like I've heard, there's been so many letters my dad has and things that people say like they're struggling or their mom's struggling, and that they'll pull out the charm and it gives them the strength to get through the day. So.
This is the second one that we have here too. Oops.
As Emma has mentioned to us, if you do have any Chucky's Fights events coming up, please feel free to let us know. We would love to cover that.
Yeah, I'll keep you in the loop.
And we are actually going to kick it off to our charity event shortly. Emma and we decided about a month or so ago to host our very first ever charity event where, speaking of a healthy lifestyle, we decided to collect back to school items and used and new sporting goods because we wanted to go ahead and donate them to kids less fortunate who aren't able to purchase cleats to go play football to keep them off the streets, or here's a soccer ball to learn a new healthy habit. So Emma and I collected back to school items, of course, to help with their academics, and donated those items, and we're going to roll that tape.
That's awesome.
So today is a very special episode because tonight we are actually hosting our very first charity event. We're so excited. Britt, we got a lot of really awesome stuff tonight.
We got so many awesome items, and we're here today at FashionFunPop.
Yes, FashionFunPop in Whitman, which, first of all, this place is dangerous. There's so many cute things here. I actually couldn't even leave without taking a few things home with me myself. So we're going to take you inside and show you all of the awesome things that were donated to support, of course, kids and our local community. Shopping, light bites, and incredible music. What more could a girl want, right? Well, for us, the afternoon needed just one more thing: school supplies. Why? Because kids in our local communities are going back to school, and we're going to make sure that they're ready. So we teamed up with our friends at FashionFunPop in Whitman to make sure the drive was a success.
We absolutely love charity. Anytime someone mentions, well, we want to help, we're like, we're in. So we've done a ton from the start. We work with Big Brother, Big Sister. That's a new partnership this year. That's been awesome. If we're going to have wine involved, typically we do wine for a cause. And so that's what this company One Hope is. So basically each wine they design or each wine they have has a cause to it. So whether it's autism or cancer or whatever the case may be. So that's one of them. We've done drives of our own. We've gone out to different events. I couldn't have picked a better small town to move into. The people of Whitman have been amazing. Each person that comes in, we give personalized service here. So each person that comes in, we take our time to learn what they're doing, what are they looking for.
Speaking of keeping it local, we knew the night wouldn't be complete without some good local music. So we brought in well-known local singer Nicole Michelle to serenade shoppers as thank you for stopping in.
I'm tired of being played like a violin.
I started singing when I was probably 12 years old. Believe it or not, my go-to is actually the national anthem because that's what I mostly started with. I have sung for the Boston Celtics about 6 or 7 times. I've sang for the Red Sox once, and I've sang for the Patriots once. The experience was amazing. I remember at 12 years old, I sang in front of Patriots, and I told my mom this is what I wanted to feel every single day, and that's kind of what pushed me towards what I'm doing now.
With the good tunes flowing and a pile of donations growing, you can't trust the Boss Babes to be at an adorable boutique and not shop.
Like, 2 people have been able to look good in that.
Really?
Yes.
But back to the important stuff. How did we do? Thanks to our friends from around the city, the donation pile just kept growing. Even our friends at Wiffle Ball made a donation to help kids get out and play. Brittany took hers to the Metro West Boys and Girls Club, while I took mine to a Quake Congregational Church to be delivered to the East Falmouth Elementary School. We're excited to give those things back, and we're very grateful to FashionFunPop for everything they've done for us tonight.
And thank you, Wiffle Ball, because Wiffle Ball donated 24 bats and balls to us.
Which is going to be awesome, and I cannot wait to give those back. But people tonight also got something back as well. Nicole Michelle came and sang tonight. Her voice is just incredible.
Her voice is off the charts.
So we're excited to share all of this with you. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We'll catch you next time. Bye. So that event was amazing, and thank you so much to our friends over at FashionFunPop, Paul and Ariel. We know they're also expecting a baby very, very soon, so congratulations to you guys. We're very happy for you. So like we said in the video, we sent ours to both the Boys and Girls Metro West Club, and then also to Waquoit Congregational Church to give to the East Falmouth Elementary School. So thank you guys all for your help. We so appreciate your support. And really quickly, before we wrap everything up today, I just want to make sure that, we talk about Charles' fights that he has coming up so that you guys can stay in the loop with everything he's doing. Charles, what do we have next?
I can't say for sure because I didn't sign a contract yet, but I'm hoping to fight in mid-December, maybe in the state capitol in Washington, D.C. So I'm hoping,
Is there anybody that you're interested in fighting? Like, if you could choose, who's your ultimate opponent to fight?
I mean, anybody that's ranked ahead of me is who I'm looking to fight. I'm going for the world title. But my big brother, the Big Ticket Harris, he's a heavyweight in the UFC. He's the main event of that card. He's fighting All-Star Wolverine for the main event, and the winner fights for the world title. So I think, me and him, we kind of. He lived with me in Florida. He lived in my couch when we were first getting started in MMA, and it's pretty cool to see us come from the bottom all the way to the top. So we're both always had dreams about fighting in the UFC, and now we're both here. And he's a little ahead of me, but I'm excited that we're both in it together.
Awesome. And then before we wrap up today, of course, we're going to have your positive pop. And today's is very simple. It's a mantra that many of you have heard before, and it's something that I think sometimes we forget about. Work hard, play hard. You have to have a healthy balance of both in life. If you're working all the time, you're going to burn out. And if you're playing all the time, same thing's going to happen. So make sure that you balance yourself out with work and play, whatever that means for you. For some people, that means their playtime is just sitting and curling up with a good book. For other people, it means that one extra glass of champagne on Sunday. So whatever way you do it, we hope that you guys have an amazing time doing it. And also, score update just before we go one more time.
17-0. The Jets are going down, baby. Let's go.
So we're going to head out and we're going to go catch the game just like everybody else, I'm sure, hopefully is doing. So we hope that you guys enjoy it and have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for tuning into the Boss Babes.
Check us out on social media.
Yes, check us out on social media, and also Charles Rosa, MMA, on social media. Yep. And we will see you guys very, very soon. Take care. Thanks for watching.